If I only had $1 for every time I had to stop and go to the hardware store or order something off of Amazon, man. Welcome back, party people. All right, today we are going to try and actually make the bike trays. I broke down and decided to go ahead and do it while I could, because after getting the bed in there and then just trying to get bikes in and out, it just I think this is a better solution. I'm not sure if it's the best solution, but it's definitely a better solution. So my sliders are on the way. I might even try to, I've got two of these, actually went a little bit bigger than what was posted on Far Out Ride's blog. So shout out to Far Out Ride. I think he was probably one of the originals for this. So I'm kind of stealing all this information from him. But instead of going 19 by 60, I'm going 20 by 65. And I think that's going to be some variability depending on how long and how big your bikes are. So as you can see here, I'm pushing the limits at the back, and I'm pushing them pretty far to the front. But I think with the extra inch wide, I might get some extra storage to drop some wheels down there in the middle, maybe even a helmet or two. And my pedals, I won't have to be too exact about putting bikes on there, because my pedals are fairly wide and my handlebars are fairly wide. And being 5'10" or so, I probably have longer bikes than some other people and much shorter than others. So when you're building this thing, you got to take that into consideration. And so I've kind of marked out some dimensions here of where my fork mounts will be, and I just transferred a little diagram onto my tabletop here. So I'm going 2 1/4 from the edge, and 10 5/8 back for the DJ bike, 2 5/8 back from the Santa Cruz Bronson. So I think that will give me enough room to get my fingers in there to unlatch the Rocky Mount and move it around. But anyhow, so we'll get started on this. Let's do it. installed. Got the motorcycle on the right, and then the bike's on the left. So not a lot of storage space under the bed, but I wanted to maximize the garage area, so that's what we have. Alright, that'll do it for the bicycle tray video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, give me a big thumbs up if you liked it. Otherwise, I guess give me a thumbs down. I don't know. Anyhow, comment, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're viewing these videos, please do so. It helps the channel out tremendously. You know what to do. Until next time, skill up and ride, man up and go.